With every breath, we bring the yes factor. We are knowing that there is so much more than that which meets the eye. That goodness abounds. That life is incessant. And we are so grateful to be a part of this extraordinary moment, not just in history, but in the whole evolution of humankind. And we come here to hone our skills. We come here to be vessels and vehicles. We come here to enlarge our territory. We come here to be greater places and spaces in the universe to which the divine can shine. We come here to move out of lack and limitation, out of fear, out of worry, and to stand in spiritual truth and principle. How good it is to synchronize our energy, which creates a synergy as we multiply the consciousness of oneness. It is so good and really, really good. So I release this word knowing that this time together is effective, it is efficient, it is uplifting, inspirational, transformational, healing. And calming. We are a balm to heal the wounded heart. We declare everything about this time together to be good and very, very good. We get out of the way. We allow it to be. And so it is.
And so it is.
Yay. Yay, yay, and more yay. Okay, so we are going to introduce ourselves. It looks like we got a lot of people. This is good. So there are 7 people in the room with me right now and other people in different places within the center. And a number of people who are both online and on the telephone. Okay, so I have everybody muted right now, but I'm going to ask you a favor. Okay, particularly those of you who are calling in, make sure that if you're not talking, that you mute yourself. And if by chance you're in some kind of public system, which it appears that somebody may be, where there's a music that comes on, if you mute, just be mindful of that, because we have had that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around very succinctly. I want you to say your name, where in the world you are right now, and I want to go back to what we were talking about last week. For those of you that were here, I want you to put forth very succinctly a vision that you have that brings you here. Okay? Very succinctly. Okay? And part of the reason why I'm saying very succinctly is that we're practicing now the kind of sound bites that we want to be able to say in our conversations. Okay? So that we're not taking 3 to 4 or 5 minutes to try to say something where there's just something really good. Now, I don't want it to be as rote as we used to do in the Pentecostal church, you know. I'm so glad to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Spirit. Thank you. And everybody just said the same thing, you know, or the metaphysical, you know, I'm one with the one of the one of the one of the one. Just like really just something from the heart. Okay, and as we keep doing this, it will refine. But with some vision that you have that is bringing you here. So, I am going to first start with, and I think I can unmute you, or maybe you can have to unmute yourself. I'm going to start with Elizabeth. Your name, where you're calling from, and what is this compelling vision that's bringing you here? Can you unmute yourself? Or do I have you muted? There you go.
So, so why did I knew that I wouldn't be called on first?
Because you were busy waving your hands first.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. I am Elizabeth from Norway, and I'm coming in through the web from Norway, Trondheim. So, and then the vision.
Yes.
So calling me here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said last time, what I think I just did was to react to the impulse that I got, that this is something that I should be participating in.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and it was awesome. So thank you. So my vision is, I want to live in a world where where I can go anywhere, and everywhere that I go, I will meet people who are healthy, who are happy, who are confident, who are in joy, and live in joy and live in love and bliss.
Sounds good to me. Give me a ticket.
Oh yeah.
Get me a ticket. Thank you, Elizabeth. How about you, Jean?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? I'm in Rotterdam in a hostel. So, sorry, it's noisy. I'm a practitioner in the light. And, you know, I'm on Facebook and I see that we all need to learn not to be ruled by the anger and fear and hostility and the negativity that's coming up, because it's like Reverend Deborah said. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're gonna get the speakers because it's a little soft.
Okay, is this any better? I'm stuck talking closer to my own microphone.
Yes, that's better.
Okay. So how to be succinct here? And there's going to be more negativity and chaos and fear out there, and we are the ones to hold the ground and hold steady and keep the high watch. So this is a learning for all of us, and yeah, my vision is a world where we don't have to remind ourselves of it. It's normal functioning.
Great. Love it. And where are you physically right now?
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam. All right. Very good. Okay. I have an 805 number. Check in, please.
I'm Lena. My name is Lena, and can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great, fabulous. I am in the car. I'm driving to Santa Cruz right now. So
Okay.
you're talking through stereo, and it's amazing. Yeah, I am really tired of being tired of with all of the sadness in the world. And I felt a pull to come and come above that tiredness and that sadness, and to be in a place out of anger and frustration and blame. And I am so ready to be strong in this time of change and be one of the warriors that help get my brothers and my sisters through it. I so often feel just being so sad and feeling like the world is doomed, and I don't think it is. And my vision is that we can live in harmony with each other. You know, the peace is there, and I see community, and I see gardens, and I see love, and I'm striving towards that.
Great.
So I'm here to learn some tools and build support.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lena.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, calling in from 510 number. Give us your name and a very quick vision of what brings you here. Hello?
To resolve conflicts peacefully, and that all people have enough.
That sounds great. Can you give us your name again and where you're calling from?
Sure. Sylvia Rhodes, up in Berkeley, California.
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, Reverend Deborah.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia, for being with us. Okay, 310. Calling in from 310.
So I wasn't able to hear last week's phone call, and would love to be able to catch up with that.
Okay.
But, you know, I've been going to Agape for about 25 years. And when I first went, and I just felt like, oh, this is the beloved community that I've been longing for. And now the vision is just really to extend it to the entire world, that everybody could feel whole and complete, so that they do not have to do some of the horrible things that they do. So I'm just happy to be here and see what's going on.
Great. And your name again?
Marcia.
Okay, and are you calling from LA?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Marcia. Okay, Kaylee Jangles.
It's me.
Oh, you're Kaylee Jangles?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, it's mine.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to maybe have to.
Yeah, before we do that, Shanti, are you there? Okay, I'm gonna move on to Bob.
I'm Bob, and I'm in Santa Cruz. My vision is for consciousness of love and justice to spread, and that everyone can find that in community with one another, and that would mean that systems of oppression are abolished, systems like the prison system and the system of policing, and that through that we know love, justice, and peace.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bob. Calling in from 813, and the first digits are 382.
This is Nicole. I'm calling from Las Vegas. And my purpose of being on the call, I think, is to just be able to learn how to stay more grounded when I'm in the environment of such divisive language, especially in this political season.
Okay. And if you had a quick sentence of a world that you would like to see, what would it be?
A world where our language unifies instead of divides.
There you go. Okay. It's really, really important that we learn how to speak from vision. Okay? And speak from vision so securely that it's not even personal. That it's not even about us. That we don't even have to start the story with the ego. I don't know why this is not showing me. It's not going to. Can somebody ask Leo to put this back on? And for some reason, I'm not coming up when I speak. It's staying on Elizabeth.
What's happening?
It's not projecting, and the screen just stays continuously on Elizabeth.
See, on my screen, it's you.
Huh. Okay.
Up in the right corner,
Yeah.
you see speaker view or grid view.
Gallery view?
Okay, gallery view should show everybody at the same time.
Okay.
And speaker view would show who is ever talking.
It's not doing that.
Okay, I'll come in.
I see you, Reverend Deborah. Now I see Leah.
You see me when I'm talking?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So can we get this back projected again? Okay. So I think I had called on, who did I call on? Okay, so I got Bob. Okay, Esperanza, are you there? Esperanza, are you there?
Galaxy Note 5. Albert Cyclops Judge. W801926.
I don't think she's with us. Terry? Terry?
Mobile device not found. Ready to pair. Albert Cyclops Judge. W801926.
Is that Karen Blades?
Terry? Can you speak? Can you hear me, Terry?
Mobile device not found. Ready to pair.
Yes. I can't hear them.
Elizabeth.
That's what I'm saying. There's somebody. There's Terry. Can you?
Oh.
So, Terry? Are you there? Can you speak? Do you hear me? Yeah. Do you hear me?
Hello? Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I can hear you now.
Oh, great. Very good. So tell us where you're calling from.
I'm in LA.
Hi. And what's a vision that you have?
Oh boy. Well, I recently graduated practitioner training at Agape.
Okay.
And so I have a strong spiritual practice.
Yes.
And my vision is to put that practice into wherever I am, whether it's in my current employment or leaving that employment and making that practice of seeing clients a full-time situation.
Okay. Do you have a vision of the world?
Vision of the world.
Just a quick snippet, a vision for the world.
Yeah, a peaceful, harmonious world is my vision.
Okay. All right. Everybody has to have some compelling vision that calls you, that's bigger than you. That's not just about you. Okay. And this is where the amplification is going to take place. Okay. As we start to articulate who we are, as we start to articulate what we're doing, can you let her in, please? Articulate who we are and what it is that we're doing, everybody's not going to resonate with your personal vision about, I want to be this or I want to do that. What's going to amplify is the collective consciousness about a world in which we want to see. All right? So I want us to be able to say that. So in your conversations, we don't even start with, you know, I'm so tired of all this divisiveness and all that. Well, we can start the conversation with, you know what? I have a vision of a world that's inclusive. Well, that's like, boom, that's like the first thing that's out your mouth, you know, not the other stuff, okay? All right, so we've got a number of people who are in the room with us now, and if this works right, the voice activation should bring your pictures up.
I can just pass this.
Okay, I'm not sure if it's gonna work that way, but you can go for it.
I think you're gonna have to turn your volume off.
Okay, yeah.
So my name is Kaylee Dugan, and I envision a world where every single solitary person knows that they are enough, they're worthy, they're powerful, and they're focused. And we treat each other with kindness, dignity, and respect.
Okay, you're not. Did you hear it?
Yes,
Because the picture's not coming up.
It's coming up on my computer, though.
mine too.
It's just yours is stuck somehow.
All right.
Tell Rev to go back to gallery view.
Zelma, a picture of the world being love and truth.
Can't hear Zelma.
I picture the world of being love and truth.
Thank you.
My name is Russell Downing, and I'm here at Inner Light. And I'm here because I've heard about this, but I've always been here, so I've never had to do this virtually, but I wanted to see what virtual was like. So
It's hard to hear you guys on the Apple. If you could hold it up closer, maybe.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I live here and I attend here, I've never wanted to be virtual, but
It's not about you. What is a vision?
in alignment with the Pachamama. It's just environmentally sustainable, visually empowered, and
Shanti, can you mute?
Okay, my name is Sarah. I'm here at Inner Light, and I hold a vision for a world where every life is held as sacred and everyone acts from that knowing of that sacredness.
Hold the computer so you can see yourself on the screen.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Margot Zanzinger, and I'm here in Santa Cruz, and I have a vision of love and the power of love and how to use it and being able to communicate that with everybody I know.
You guys are making me seasick. Can't hear Ayala.
Can you hear me now?
Barely.
Okay. My name is Ayata, and I'm here in Santa Cruz now, but I'm from Vancouver out in Canada. And my vision is...
We really can't hear Ayata at all. Is your hand over where the mic is, maybe?
I don't think so. How's this?
Oh, there you go.
All right. I just get to see my eyes. Yeah, so my vision is where we are building a global culture based on understanding each other, and all our systems are basically coming from that place of understanding and collaboration.
Hi, I'm Nate Saucier. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So my vision is that for a world where everyone knows that everyone is sacred, holy, and treated with respect and dignity and oneness, and everyone knows themselves that they are holy and sacred as well.
Great, thank you. So, Shanti?
Do you want to do it, Maria?
I haven't thought about what I say yet.
Esperanza chatted her vision.
Yeah, hi, I'm Shanti, and I'm in Ben Lomond, Santa Cruz Mountains, and my vision is communication. That means coming together in union stages. Since we are now in global communication, that takes some work. It goes a little bit beyond computer technology. Even that one is a challenge, eh? Thank you for being here, all of you. I'm muting again.
Okay. Rev D, you're muted. Did you mute yourself on the computer by accident outside of this? There you go.
So did you turn
Can
your
you-
volume back up?
There you are.
I never turned my volume down. You hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. I realize it's a little bit laborious, and we're gonna get this tech thing down pat. And I realize that not everybody here has had a chance. I see a couple of new people who are here, but it's really important that we develop a little bit of patience. Okay, this is this is part of the long haul. This is part of the being with it. This is part of working with whatever it is that you have, not being discouraged, not being, disappointed. Stuff isn't going to be instant. It's not going to be fast. And you want to be able to look at everything as a blessing, okay? Where you don't get into the idea, well, because this thing is happening, this is bad, or this is in my way, this is slowing me down. I want to give you a quick story of this that really helps to sustain me. Some of you might have been there when Reverend Lawson, James Lawson, spoke at the Santa Cruz UCSC MLK convocation. This was, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago or so. And he was telling the story. He's one of the people who used to march with King, and he was telling us a story about in the early 50s, they were doing this march in Mississippi, I believe, is where he was located at the time. And in order to bribe the marchers from not marching, the government started passing out free hams. And everybody started taking these hams. And he was so disappointed in this. And then the day that the march started, there were very few people who were there, and it rained. And he was like, God, are you against me too? But it just started the march. The march went on for a few days, and the march kept growing larger and larger and larger. And by the time they got to the Capitol, there were all these carloads of folks with baskets full of ham sandwiches to give to all of the marchers who were hungry. And it's just one of those things. It just really showed me, one, you don't know what you're working with. You don't know what you're saying. And two, you cannot judge who's an ally or not simply because they're not able to meet you where you are. Not everybody's going to be able to do what it is that you do. So as we're doing this work, judgment about how other people are showing up, even if in the surface it appears as though they are doing something opposite than what you would be doing, don't worry about that. You keep doing what you're doing because you get off your game worrying what somebody else is doing. There's an analogy that was brought up years ago in a facilitation that I was doing for LGBT executive directors. And one of the guys was an architect. And I will never forget this image. Some of you probably heard this who studied with me, but it's so striking, and I want you to remember this now, that a bridge never gets built from one side to the other. That's not what happens. Each side of the bridge has to anchor on its own side first, and then it works its way to the middle, and that's when it becomes the bridge as it works its way to the middle. However, what has to happen on each side of the bridge may be diametrically opposed. One side could be cement, and it's hard, and you have to dynamite it to be able to get the pilings in. The other could be very soft, and you have to pour the cement. So think about your own lives now. How many times have you been in conflictual relationships where you have thought in your mind foul play because the other person wasn't doing it however it was you thought it should be done, and you lost faith and you lost heart? Yes? And years later, months later, whatnot, when the bridge actually met, you realized, oh, they were doing what they needed to do. Okay, are you with me? Yeah. Okay. Now, part of the reason why I'm bringing this up is that I've been an activist all my life. And I have yet to have seen people drop out of activism because of the so-called opposition. I have never seen people go, oh, racism is just so much. I just can't do this work anymore. Homophobia is just so much. When people drop out of doing the work, it's their own quote unquote side they're tired of dealing with. Listen to what I'm saying. They are burnt out from the folks that supposedly are going in the same direction. That's what wears them out. I got some nods here. That's what wears them out. So as much attention as you may have on wanting to affect all those people over there, one of the first things we have to learn is how to be a nice player with the people who actually want to play with us. And not being impatient, not being judgmental, not being pushy, like in our way and the way that we think that it should happen, but leaving some room and some space. We were talking last week about how pain pushes until vision pulls. And I call it cannibalism, because that's what happens. Where for people who are busy fighting and they're trying to fight and they think they're fighting the good fight, you can't distinguish anymore. You start fighting the people who are with you. It reminds me of when people are drowning. When people are drowning and they start to panic, they start to drown the people who are trying to save them. Yeah, because they're so busy drowning. Are you with me? Okay, and I'm being very, very specific about this because part of the impetus for this right now, of course, it's not the only thing going on, but we'd be an ostrich with our head in the sand if we were saying that the current political climate in America was not a real driving force right now. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not about American politics. This is about consciousness. This is about global consciousness. And what is at stake here is so huge. I don't care about this whole idea of leader of quote unquote the free world. What I know is that the United States has absolute, unprecedented military power. There is nothing in the world. There has never been anything like this in the world. our media influence. We control the internet. All these companies, Google and Yahoo, they're right here in our own backyard. You know, in Santa Cruz, there is just an undue influence that whatever happens here has on the whole entire world. So I think that there's some extra responsibility in terms of what we want to do here. Okay? So we need to start with vision. Pain pushes until vision pulls. It's okay to have some pain, but that can't be the dominant thing of your conversation. You must lead with vision. Your vision has to be bigger than you. It's got to be a vision that you see of the world that's so compelling that even if you never get a chance to participate in it, it still is something worth striving for. We have to be like gardeners. We can't be in this instant gratification. I want to see the results, you know, like I want to see it now. That's not it. It is for the long haul. Are you with me? For the long haul. You want to partner with people who are sharing the same vision, even though they may not be going about it the same way. Whatever your calling is and wherever this stuff pulls you, and I don't know where all of this stuff is going to pull you. Okay? There might be some people who are literally out in the streets. There could be some people who are knocking door to door. There could be some people who are in silent vigil, you know, or some combinations of the above. I don't know where your particular stuff is going to call you. But what I do know is that every fire has 3 elements. Think of it like the fire triangle. So in the macro, so in the micro. So in your own individual life, as well as in the collective, whenever there is a fire burning, it has to have these 3 elements. There has to be the heat, the fuel, and the oxygen. The heat, the fuel, and the oxygen. And in any given organization, in any given movement, there are going to be different people who are playing those roles. Within your own life, there are going to be different times when you are playing those roles, and those roles may change over your life. Are you with me? And this is recorded.
Okay.
Yeah. So the heat is uncomfortable. Heat is uncomfortable. Heat is disruptive. The heat burns things, and it's one of the quickest things to want to silence the heat, because the heat challenges the status quo. Are you with me? That's what the heat does. It puts everybody's feet to the fire, and it appears to be disruptive, and it's very easy to lose track of what the real issues are by paying too much attention to the heat. So we can say, for example, right now, Black Lives Matters is heat. Okay? It is heat. But it's very easy to dismiss heat as out of control, self-serving, out of alignment, you know, like not a team player, and you want to squelch it or circumvent it in some kind of way. Youth are heat. Youth have always been heat. You have never had a revolution started by old people. Ever. And if there are old people in the revolution, it's because they were revolutionaries young. Yeah. And time just came along. You know, Nelson Mandela was an elderly man when he took office, but he didn't start elderly. He had been an activist his whole life. Are you with me? And it doesn't mean that you can't be late to the party, but there is a specific role that youth plays. Yes. As being the heat, not standing for the status quo, not paying attention to all the rest of that kind of stuff. All right? The fuel is that ongoing. It's the resources. It's the stuff that keeps chugging along. It ain't sexy, doesn't hit the news, not a lot of gratitude, not a lot of thanks, but you cannot live, the fire can't burn unless there is absolute every element. If you have a lot of fuel and oxygen and there's no heat, there's no fire. You have a lot of heat, but there's no fuel to keep it burning, it's not gonna last. There's no oxygen to help it breathe, it's not gonna last. If you have all air with no heat, you can't remove any one of them. Are you with me? And the oxygen helps it breathe. The oxygen is sort of not slightly removed, but not necessarily all caught up in it. Okay. Think of air, inspiration, spire is breath. There always has to be that breath. And it's not uncommon in activism for the air to come from charismatic leadership. Vision is air. Vision is air. This idea of what's pulling you, it's that ability to rise above the heat of the burn, the daily grind of it, and be pulled up by something. Are you with me?
Can music be air too?
Oh yes, music is definitely air. There's no question about it. Oh yeah. Anything that rejuvenates, uplifts, inspires, recalibrates you, back to something deeper, connects you, brings you into love, brings you into a heart space, sustaining, brings you joy, brings you peace. Any of that stuff would be considered air. Okay, are you with me? So, you need to be thinking about this on multiple levels. So in the inner, so in the outer. So in the micro, so in the macro. So let's start with the micro first. Your life. What's the fire in your life? Everybody, if you're going to do this work, you have to be personally on fire. That means there has to be something in your life that gives you the heat. It doesn't always have to be negative. That heat may be your children and the passion. What heat has to have is passion. It doesn't have to be anger, but it has to have something that literally is like a fire, something that burns within you. And then you need to have fuel. You need to have some kind of self-care. You have to have some kind of way that you sustain yourself. Are you with me? Being together here like this becomes fuel. It's like another log on the fire, so to speak. And you have to have that place of inspiration. You have to have the air to breathe. Whatever that's going to be for you, gardening or music or walks on the beach or something like that. If you do not have these things, you cannot do this work. You can't do it. And what will happen is that you'll try to use your activism to substitute for what's missing in your life. Are you with me? The passion you don't have in your life, you'll be trying to siphon off by all this do-gooder work that you're doing. Or the inspiration you don't have in your life, and then you become disillusioned. My sermon on Sunday was talking about this. Our theme this month has been wholeness. It's the difference between whole, H-O-L-E, and whole with a W. and say, what is that W that you're trying to bring to fill up that quote unquote hole? And what too many of us are doing, listen to what I'm saying, is we're experiencing a hole in our life, and then we go into do-gooder activism to try to make us feel whole. Okay? But do-gooder activism with the W hole cannot fill up your hole. It can't fill up your hole. And it's only going to make you more disillusioned because it won't satisfy the itch. Then you'll be saying, oh, well, this thing's out of integrity. Oh, well, they're not moving fast enough. Oh, well, they're not really sincere. Oh, well, this stuff really isn't working. Oh, should I really be spending my time here? Oh, then, And all you'll be looking then is at shortcomings, incompetency, a lack of fulfillment. That is your own stuff. Your own stuff. And then you'll be trying to push everybody around you faster because you're unhappy. Is this making sense? Okay. So you have to tend to your little fire. This little inner light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. So it's successive. There's this individual fire that you have to keep going in your own life, where you have to figure out what are your elements, what's your heat, what's your fuel, what's your oxygen. And then as you begin to do this work, you have to figure out where you want to play on this fire triangle. Are you going to be fire? You're going to be fuel? You're going to be oxygen? Are you going to be some combination, of them? But I'm going to tell you now, it's really hard to be all three. And it's a hellified hard to be too. It's possible, but trying to be all three is a bit much. And this is where you do your inventory. And it's okay. Listen, it's okay. You don't have to be in judgment because you lack the capacity, the will, the desire to play some role. It's not yours to play. And it's okay. And I'm particularly talking to those of us who are a bit older, who in the past might have been a lot of heat, might have been a lot of fuel. Perhaps now is your time to be some oxygen. Yes. Perhaps now is some time for you to be inspiration to some younger generations. I'm reminded now of a march. I don't even remember what this march was for. I've been on so many marches. All I know is that we were in Sacramento. And we were marching down Sacramento, and by the time we made it to the state capitol, there's a big lawn area, and there were some trees. And there was a bunch of us that were old colleagues and comrades of mine in the movement, and we were sitting under the tree, and ACT UP, which was one of the earlier AIDS activist organizations, were busy storming the door of the city capitol, of the state capitol. And those of us who'd been vets of the movement for a while, we were like under the tree and just looking at each other and looking at them. And we all kind of said it at the same time, which is, I'm too old for that. And we worked that out. But it was, and then I remember saying, there should be some kind of like coupon or something, like do 10 marches, get to sit one out or something. Or something like that. And it's so interesting because as I'm getting pulled now, I'm really having to think about this, sort of where can I land? You know, what's the best thing for me to be? This is where you want to pray on it. This is where you want to surrender. But make sure you have your own fire going so that you can be a part of the bigger fire. Once you are clearer about this way that you want to play, if you want to be heat, if you want to be fuel, if you want to be oxygen, I find that the clarity of that helps you locate yourself more. The clarity of that kind of takes the scales off about what's mine to do and where is it that I need to be. Let me be a part of the fire. What is my role? Where is this that I should be? The other piece that happens is when you do that, you have more compassion and empathy for the other people who are playing the other roles. We get short and we get frustrated because the fuel is not being the heat, or the heat won't calm down and be the oxygen. But that's not the job of heat. Heat's to be heat. And then you learn to have an appreciation. So it got to the point where Martin Luther King would do things like, in the jail, point outside to the Nation of Islam, or point outside to the Panthers, and whatnot, and say, well, you can negotiate with me, or you can step outside. You got your choice here of who you want to deal with. And there's a way that they all play off of each other, so to speak, in a healthy way. And you may not like what you see. You can't control movements. And you can't control what other people are doing. And they may be using tactics sometimes that's not what you would want to see. I'm being really serious about this. I'm not trying to be alarmist, but it feels like the writing is on the wall. It feels like the writing is on the wall that America is going to see some drama. America's going to see some violence. And it is a bewildering point. It was bewildering to King to see the violence. In fact, when he got the Nobel Peace Prize, he was like, why are you giving this to me? You know, Detroit was burning as he's taking the prize. Like, why are you doing this? We haven't seen the peace that you're giving me this prize for. And his conclusion was finally is that you're giving it to me as a curator for the future. That I'm going to hold this for its rightful owners who actually see the peace. But I think you're giving it to me because there's a vision of possibility. I think King would have been disappointed to his heart if he had a chance to see the violence that erupted as a result of his own death. Whether it's Gandhi, I mean, I can go on up and down. That a lot of times the forces, particularly the heat, will often appear to us to go backwards from where it is that we're wanting to go. Take deep breaths and have faith. Hang in there. Hang in there with your vision. Healing is not a straight line. Sometimes things appear to get worse before they actually get better. But you have to be in there for the long haul. Keep filling up your little tank every day. Keep your own fire going. Keep your own fire going. And if you're working with other people or like groups like this, like we're going to pray some too. With all of your activism and it's like all your work, make sure you do things that are loving and sustaining and that make you feel uplifted. Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Take a breath. Is all this making sense? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to open it up now. Are there questions about any of the things that I've been saying? Questions or maybe examples that you want to give? Wave your hand or something if you have a, make sure that I get you unmuted properly. Jean? Oh, Bob? Okay. Let's make sure you're unmuted here. Give me 1 second. I think you're unmuted. Yeah, go for it.
Could you say just a little bit more about the fuel?
Wait, not hearing you. Did you mute yourself?
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm not hearing you. You hear?
Yeah.
I can hear you. I hear you.
I could write my question.
Bottom left of your screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rev, can you hear me?
Your mute button?
Rev, you're not hearing anybody?
I can hear you.
I can hear too.
Okay. Hold on, Bob.
Okay, I'm still not hearing you.
Nothing? Okay.
Does anybody else hear him?
Yeah.
Everybody else hears him but us.
You don't hear any of us.
Oh, well,
Are the speakers on?
Say it
Can you hear
again.
somebody who's not in the room? Can you hear me, Bob?
Okay, Bob, try it again.
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I wonder if you could just say just a little bit more about the fuel and what are things that you do in your life or that communities, what is the fuel work that happens in activism?
Okay. So for everybody, it's going to be whatever it is that they do. And this is where I would call your spiritual practice would be part of the fuel. The discipline, the continuing to show up. So like if we were organizing, for example, it could be as simple as folding papers and sticking them in the envelopes. And that's what we've got to do, you know, time and time again. It's the not sexy stuff. You know, yeah, getting money, raising money. Think about it in your own life, you know, doing the laundry, buying groceries. You can have a lot of passion and whatnot, but if you aren't kind of taking care of those basics, that's going to keep you going. Think of it like food. Think of it like fuel. What do you need to have that you can keep burning? Your body needs fuel. You can't just run. At some point, you have to feed it something. Okay, so what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding your organization to make sure that it has energy to keep going? Good question. Anybody else have any questions or examples that you want to give? Okay, Elizabeth? Let me get you muted here. Okay, go for it.
Okay. So where do I begin with this? My challenge is, so I'm an indigo child or youth, whatever. And so my challenge is, so I get so angry with how the world is. I get so angry with how it's not working and how it's it could be so much better, and it's just fucking sucks on so many areas. And that so I don't know the passion, but there's an anger inside of me that will kind of, so it's like to have a big engine in your car, and or you have a too big of an engine, so it could take you off out of control, you know, just to take you away.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something, Elizabeth. And I'm not saying this to embarrass you, and you don't have to be specific. You don't even have to really answer. How angry are you in your own life?
Yeah, exactly.
See?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and this is exactly what I'm saying, is that it's this little thing called projection. And we're finding it everywhere on the collective scene, because the things that we are not dealing with inside, it's the shadow sides, are being projected out everywhere on our societal and political scene. So it gets to be really easy for us to see all of the ills out there and want to be angry at them, society for not being whole, society for not being happy, society for, you know, whatever, and want to try to fix society rather than dealing with our own internal angst. See, and the more you do, and the reason why I already knew the answer to the question is that people who have found a certain happiness and peace in their lives aren't angry. Period. They're not angry in their own life, and they're not angry at everybody else out there. You know, you can look at the Dalai Lama, you know, look at Bishop Desmond Tutu. I mean, you know, you look at Malala, and it doesn't mean that that they don't see everything. They see more than we do. But it's in there. In scripture, in the first part of what we call the Sermon on the Mount, it's sometimes referred to as the Beatitudes. And it says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." Mm-hmm. That word peacemakers only shows up once in scripture. It's actually a made up word. Jesus was very good for doing that. And this is not mediators. This is not that kind of peace. It is the person who has so found peace within their own being that they can radiate it and impact everything else. This is like we were talking about last week, the difference between into and unto. How when you step into something, you are mindful of how it's going to impact you. But when you step unto it, you influence everything around you.
Yeah.
See? So the peacemakers have found peace internally first. Mm-hmm. And we will never have on the outside what we're not doing on the inside. That's our problem. We've got these warring political parties because we are warring inside of ourselves. So if we start this journey off with this idea of having compassion for yourself. I promise you, the more compassion you have for you, the more compassion you're going to have for everybody else. But there can never be compassion for everybody else if there is not first some compassion for you.
I hear you, and
Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yes. And all you have to do is want it. All you have to do is be willing. All you have to do is claim it as who you are, so that this vision that you're putting out there for the world is a vision that has you in it. Yes. I am that peace. I am that safe harbor. They shall be called the children of God, huios in Greek. This is the same word that's used whenever they talk about Jesus as, quote unquote, the Son of God. It has nothing to do with lineage. It means in the same likeness and character. That the ones who have found this peace are in the likeness and the character of what we know of as God. So it was an excellent question. It was an excellent question. And part of the reason why I am harping on this so much is that that's what's being exploited now. Yes. That's what's being exploited. The individual fears, the individual angst is being exploited now. You should be afraid. You should be even more afraid of what you think. And we've got the answer. We've got your answer. It's in this product. Buy this. It's in this political party. Buy this. It's in this candidate. Buy this. You can't possibly be happy and whole without what we have. It's being exploited. Remember last week I talked about this? Where our strings are getting jerked. And when we're not at peace, we're jerkable. Woo! The economy. Woo! The elections. Woo! Like this. And said, bam, cut that stuff. So that peace, there's a calmness that's there. You can see that. Yes, there is a calmness that's there. And I'm telling you that calmness is dangerous because those people can't be controlled. Prison, they're always creating some drama with the inmates to keep them off balance, to keep them off. Because if they get too calm and too centered and too grounded and too much oneness, take those guards out like that. No, they want the chaos. They want the upset because that's how we get to be controlled.
So what do I do then? Yeah. Bring it to me. I'm waiting.
Your job over the next 48 hours till we meet again, I want you to stand in front of the mirror and tell that person in the mirror how beautiful she is. Yes. How wonderful she is. How special she is. How much God loves her. How necessary she is. How extraordinary her journey has been up until now, and how magnificent it is in front of her. And if you really want to go for the gusto, do it butt-ass naked.
Oh, God. Okay. I take that challenge. I take the challenge.
There you go. Okay? And report back day after tomorrow.
I will.
Okay. So we're winding down now. Anybody else have a question of clarification or comment?
I do, sure do.
Yes, please.
Well, the comment is you're my fuel for the next meeting, Deb. Because in our communication company with Experience Technology, we have
Put your screen, put your computer so we can see. There you go.
Yeah, we have a little bit too much air with our Experience Technology company. And I ran out of fuel and also ran out of fire. And so we got somebody in that brings the fire. By golly, she brings in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need to do that one anymore. But now I need to bring an example of why it needs the 3 into the next meeting, because the fire just burned some bridges.
Yes.
Which I think is good. Fire is good, and I wanted some.
Yes.
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 So thank you so much for that example, and I'm going to be sitting on it till Thursday, and then I'm going to let you know what happened.
Very good.
I was in a lack of words and parables, and as always, you brought me the right ones, just in the nick of time.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Anybody else have any, I see there are a couple of people in the room here. Why don't you scoot up so you can be seen?
My question is about air. You said that a charismatic speaker is air.
That can be.
Can be air. Well, I believe that you are a lot of air. A lot of hot air. I love it. Wonderful air. My air comes from my meditation practice, my prayer practice, playing classical music. So I have my own air. So when I hear your air, I see it as logs for my fuel. So your air becomes my fuel. Is that correct? Or does yours stay air?
Yeah. Well, that's
my question.
I would say, let's not get stuck, because air, it's an abstract concept. Okay. So things that would be considered air are part of my ongoing spiritual practice fuel. It gives me the fuel. So my air would be things like prayer, meditation, and all that, but that is part of the fuel that keeps me going. Okay. The thing you need to pay attention to is, do you have sustenance? And are there things that help you rise above? Because if you're just kind of stuck in the fuel all the time, putting the logs, are you going to get weary? You're going to get tired. You have to, there has to be something beyond all that you can tap into. You can call it the transcendent. There has to be more than that. That's all I'm saying. More than just the material world. Yes. And yes, a charismatic speaker can be air, and a charismatic speaker can definitely be fire. There's nobody that can excite a riot like a charismatic speaker.
But you can feed off it.
You're going to feed off of all of it. Yeah, some people make, some people make heat their constant fuel. So they burn out. Because there's not enough. It just, it just goes up. The most important thing is in your own life that you have some passion, that you have sustainability, and that you have some transcendence. That you make sure that you have some of that in your life. Because when we don't, we're busy projecting. We're living in the shadow side and complaining about everybody else's heat or passion or fuel or air. Okay? This makes sense? Okay, Marcia, you never had a chance to check in. Are you good? Well, are you good?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to read this quote from John Lennon because it speaks to what you were just saying.
Great.
It says, when it gets down to having to use violence, then you are playing the systems game. The establishment will irritate you, pull your beard, flick your face to make you fight. Because once they got you violent, then they know how to handle you. The only thing they don't know how to handle is nonviolence and humor. John Lennon.
Very good. That's it. That's it. That is absolutely perfect. So I want to encourage everybody now, think about your fire triangle. Okay. Be prepared next week to say what that is for you. Okay. Be thinking about how you want to play it out there as well. And I also want to encourage any of you who already have a copy of Your Deepest Intent, get Your Deepest Intent. That's the second volume of my Letters from the Infinite series. It is for this moment. It is for this moment. And particularly read the letter on conflict resolution. But it is full of letters that are specifically for this. That book is even dedicated to the United States of America. It is for this. And so many of those letters are to us as a nation. We'll take you to the last part of that book. Okay? Doing well?
Yes.
Love it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so wherever you are, let's just take a deep breath. In this moment right now, we are speaking power into truth. In this moment right now, we are speaking love into compassion. In this moment right now, we are speaking strength into our courage. I speak a special word for the opening that happens in just a couple of minutes of the Democratic National Convention here in the United States of America. This 2016, peace, be still. Peace, be still. Divine order, right action every place. Right action every place. There is only one of us here. Only one of us here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We leave here in trust, in truth, and in faith. As it was said in the beginning, it is good. We live in the goodness of life itself. And so it is.
So it is. Amen.
Amen, everybody.
Amen. Thank you.
2 days from now, same time, same place.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye now.